beautiful. I mean, you just triggered my thoughts on my leader, one of my leader, and with confidence, I can, we have such a beautiful relationship. His name is Upendra Singh, and we lovingly call him Upen. And this was at a time when one of our colleagues in Delhi, when I used to work in Delhi, I used to work for Wipro Spectrumine, and we lost a colleague, very young. He was a scientist. He was a PhD in mammalian molecular biology, and he was in All India Institute of Medical Sciences. And all of us, we were there in the morning. This was about 5 or 6 in the morning. We were there to receive his mortal remains, and his parents were somewhere in the east of our country, and they flew in, and as soon as their car drove into the area that we were all waiting outside the morgue area. So my boss, my leader, Upendra Singh, was also with us, and as soon as the parents' car stopped, Upendra Singh just went to open the door, and he kneeled down on the ground, and so that he could be eye to eye to the mother, right? And he simply said, "Ma'am, we are extremely sorry about this," and nothing more than that. And he simply listened to what she had to say and what the father had to say. Both of them were in the rear seat, and Upen was on the ground. And then very gracefully, he held her hand so that she could step out of the car. And in this entire conversation, in the entire this particular scenario, Upen would have spoken hardly, I would say, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And it has stayed with me. That vision. Here's a leader who practices what he preaches.
Absolutely.
He would always be there for us. I used to run a technology support business, which was based out of Austin, US, and I used to run a large shop operations, and so did my colleagues who were managing the other element. And Upen would walk in and work till 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. He would map his work hours in such a way that he could meet his executive team in the evening before they would be leaving, attend all the important meetings, and then attend to us later in the. So walking the talk and talking the walk. So maybe that's the reason I'm still connected, and we talk at length, and he's a great listener. He's an amazingly great listener, and so much to learn from him. And you just reminded me of that, and I thought it's important that our audience should relate to the fact that we are not just talking only about spirituality or elements which they look very good to talk about and good to write about, but I've actually seen it in action, and you have seen it in action, and hence the conviction that you carry with you.
Absolutely. And you've got such an important point of poise under crisis. So if you look at this situation, a leader goes way beyond their duty. And that's what Upen did, if I may also call him Upen.
Yeah, Upen. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And one important element, what we call gravitas in executive presence, is how you put grace under crisis. How do you hold yourself? How do you gather yourself? Because you know what, the point that you made about just being present to the person's misery and grief and listening. And I think listening is the most misunderstood concept.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when we were growing up in classes, and it goes way back to our classrooms. If you ask a question, teacher would say, listen. And then you would say, but ma'am, I have a question. She'll say, listen. And then we thought that listening is all about hearing. And listening is also about just being present there and asking engaging questions. And not many of us are trained how to handle crisis and still maintain our grace. And I think that's where empathy, emotional intelligence, also an integral part of your executive presence. And Amit, I can't harp enough on this, that great leaders are aware and are emotional wise.